Hey guys, in this video, I'm gonna give you a list of my favorite plugins of 2021. Just letting you know these plugins weren't released or developed in 2021. These are just the current plugins I really like using this year. And also, nobody's sponsoring this video. This is my complete unbiased opinion. All right, let's get to the list. The way I'm gonna list this out is I'm gonna do 10 effects plugins and then 10 instrument plugins. These are all third-party plugins, so they're compatible with any DAW, and I'm gonna list these in no particular order. Let's get into the effects plugins. For my first favorite plugin, I'm gonna have to go with the one that I'm making. Right here, it's called This is an effect, and it's pretty much a dedicated. I'll load up a melody here. So here it is dry. And here it is with the plugin. This is gonna be one of my favorite plugins for a while because it's a plugin, but if you really get into it, you can do a lot of. My next favorite plugin is Effectrix by Sugar Bytes. This is pretty much an effects sequencer. So you can picture it like a drum sequencer. So anytime I click something in, it's going to do a different effect. Stretch, vinyl, crush, filter. There's just so many that is super versatile. This is how I like using it. Let's say we have our little lead instrument. I can use Effectrix to just put these momentary cool little effects in to make the beat a little more spicy. And it's that easy. My next favorite plugin has to be Fabfilter Pro Q3. There's a lot of EQs out there and they really sound good. This is my favorite just for the workflow. Loading up an instrument, double clicking the high pass and low pass, using the mouse wheel to adjust the curve. That's just deep in my muscle memory right now. So I can't live without it. You can also do some compression to tame some frequencies. EQ the stereo, so you can do mid-side EQ. That's mainly what I use it for, and I'm pretty much just scratching the surface of this plugin. Definitely one of my favorites. My next favorite plugin is the TR5 Classic Clipper, and this thing just sounds really, really nice. I was using this a lot when I was making Capital Drum Kit Volume 4. If you really drive it, you can get these warm, saturated clipping sounds. It's like sometimes I'll run this over the master just to make everything really punchy and consistent. That's me being a goon. You might not want to do that. Now, my next favorite plugin is Convolver by Audio Thing. This is a convolution plugin, so it mimics certain spaces, so it can sound like it's coming out of a telephone mic. Cheap Bluetooth speakers, radios, earbuds, really good as reverb. So what I really like about this is that you can load any sound into the Convolver, and from there we can get really creative. So I can add this bamboo ambience. Now the sample is going into that. If I take out the dry, just leave the wet, we have this really colorful pitched ambience almost. Really good if you want to get creative. This next favorite plugin is Thermal by Output. This is like a creative distortion plugin. Let's say I have a melody. Now, to be honest, I'm really still figuring this out, but if you are still a beginner, there's just so many cool presets in here. So what I would do is I'd kind of scroll through presets as that starting off point, and then I'd just go under the hood and really tailor it to what I want. It's a crazy plugin. That's all I can really say about it. My next favorite plugin is Rift by Minimal Audio, and this is pretty much my favorite filter plugin right now. Similar to Thermal, I'm still getting the hang of it, but this one has a bajillion presets. I really like using this if I'm going for the wonky sound design. Let's say we have a clean drum loop like this. Now, usually in my workflow, if I find something cool, I would export it, and I'm pretty much just picking those cool little parts that are really interesting to me. And then I usually blend it back with the original so that there's these cool little textures on top. There's just so much you can do in this plugin. My next favorite plugin is Delay Eternity by Arturia. This is my favorite delay plugin at the moment. And the reason I like this is that there's just a bit more functions than the normal delay. We can do bit crushing. And on top of that, there's some amazing presets in here. So this ping pong one I like. This is just one of my favorite presets, so listen to this. When you change the time mode, you can do these weird pitch modulations and stuff. So much creative stuff you can do here on top of just being a nice delay in general. So my next favorite plugin is Decimort 2 by D16. So this is a bit crusher plugin. By changing the sample rate, this is a really creative way of taking off some of the high end, similar to a high cut in an EQ, but it just sounds completely different. And I'm gonna slowly bring this down. Pressing this button gets rid of all those artifacts, so it's a much cleaner sample reduction. Once again, tons of presets. I really like using this for things like live instruments. When you dial back this knob, you can create some really natural and organic colors. For my last favorite effects plugin, It's gotta be halftime. Everybody knows this plugin already. I still love using it. It's such an easy way to make a completely different sound. If I'm making a beat or a sample and I remember feeling stuck, halftime. Here's a sample without it. Not always gonna sound perfect on the first go, but it inspires me to kind of go in a new direction. That's fire. Now let's get into the instrument plugins. My first favorite instrument plugin, gotta be Serum. This list isn't in order, but if it was, this is probably still at the top. This is just, it's just so good. It's just such a powerful synth. It's super versatile. The workflow just makes sense to me. You can make a beat and every sound can be from Serum, from the 808s to the lead to the kick, to the snare. This is where I do the majority of my sound designing when it comes to drum kits. Yeah, I like Serum. My next favorite instrument plugin is Kick 2. This is also another sound. Oh, it's okay. I'm not making a beat. I got scared for a second. This is a plugin I really like using for sound designing, mainly used to design kick drums. You have the pitch, the volume here, click tracks, EQ, distortion. There's just so many parameters. Once you're done making it, you can just generate it and then just drag it into your sampler. I also use this for making snares and 808s. Overall, just a really good sound design plugin with a great interface. My next favorite plugin, gotta be Trillian by Spectrasonics. Anytime I need a bass that's not an 808, I'm using Trillian. It just sounds so good and there's so many presets. We have the vintage upright bass, we got the muted Fender bass, some cool sequence bass like this, really warm sounding analog basses. This one's nice, this one's nice. Oh, they all sound so, when it comes to basses, Trillian is all I need. We're gonna keep this in Spectrasonics. My next favorite plugin is Keyscape. Trillian is for basses, Keyscape is for keys. If I want a nice clean piano, I'm pretty much going to Keyscape. But also really great for Rhodes. Once again, so many presets. I've probably had this one for 2 years and I still haven't gone through all of these. And there's so much control you can get after. Like, what is this sound? Keyscape, gotta love it. My next favorite is Pigments by Arturia. This is a really nice synthesizer, a lot of really nice presets right out of the box. Kind of intimidating, but once you learn all the envelopes and the LFOs and functions, you can get a lot of control out of this one. I really like using the sampler here, just layering some kind of noise on top of a sound. You can get really creative. You can create some really amazing sounds with Pigments. My next favorite plugin is Diva by UHE. It just has that warm analog sound. Like first preset right out of the box, like just listen to, so nice. I think that this virtual synthesizer is like the closest we can get to those hardware analog synths. It just sounds really authentic. And if you notice from the other ones I like, so many presets. So good. This kind of feels like cheating, but my next favorite is Kontakt. Kontakt just has so many great libraries. I really like this specifically for live instruments, so things like horns, ethnic instruments. This Middle East library is crazy. Pretty decent sounding orchestra. Definitely my favorite library at the moment though is this Noir piano. It's a really nice clean piano, but you can put in so many effects like the color and a little bit of EQ and some vinyl noise, like for lo-fi. So nice. My next favorite is Anna2 by Sonic Academy. Once again, we have a synthesizer here. Personally, I just like using it for the presets. There's just some presets that are so good, I kind of just go to them every time. So this bass. Bells are really nice. They just updated the bank, so there's a whole lot of sounds here I haven't heard yet, but I'm sure there's a lot of fire ones in here. My next favorite instrument is Mellotron V by Arturia. Just out of the box, these are some of the best presets I've ever heard. Like this flute preset, it's so hard to recreate that wobble with that, you know, little bit of distortion and the vintage warmth. These strings sound amazing. If I'm looking for that beautifully dirty, ugly sound, I'm looking in here. My last favorite plugin that I use is Sublab. This is a sound design plugin. I've made a lot of 808s and basses in here. Like the other sound design plugin, a really cool interface, a lot of really nice sounding effects. This distortion module is really nice. As usual, a lot of really good presets. I don't use it all the time, but if I'm doing a bit of sound design, I'm definitely playing around in here. All right, that's 20. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you notice, I only did paid plugins for this list, but I actually know enough free plugins to make a completely separate list. So if you want to see that, make sure you comment it below. Comment down below some of your favorite plugins. I'd love to take a look at them. And also be on the lookout for my plugin coming out very, very soon. That's about it. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment. If you like this video, leave a like. If you really like this video, subscribe. If you didn't like this video, leave. Just leave. Get out of here.